There we go. Okay. Okay. Now I get it.
Thank you.
Hello. Best songs ever recorded.
All right. We should be good now. Okay. So now let's go back to settings. Okay. Now, Scott Grzkowski, your hand is still up. Can you lower your hand if you can hear us? Okay. Awesome.
Now
We're good to go.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay, really good.
All right. Hi. Bill McCarthy, 206 Churchill Drive. Tim, thanks for stepping up and taking charge of the meeting.
No problem.
I hate that it's budget season. I was here for the CIP meeting and the meeting on Saturday, and it looks like there's some limitations on what the pool committee is being allowed to fund for the RFP, and also the potential limitation of bonding. The architectural review, or whatever you want to call it, we've got a limit of 60,000 and possibly just being able to do one pool, and the bond limit is 10 million. So we've got two restrictive dollar amounts that we have to sort of play with. I know we can't really mess with the budget too much because Jonathan's done a phenomenal job on that. But we have to take into consideration exactly how those financial limitations are going to affect our decisions here. Personally, I think that we should, if we're going to be limited to just one pool, we should focus on Mill Pond. Excuse me, and at least get one up and running totally. And I guess that's it. There were snowflakes on my car coming over here.
Oh, sure.
Terrible.
Oh,
All right,
Winter
that's
won't
it.
quit.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Scott Grzkowski is on as well.
Mr. Grzkowski?
Good evening. I'm glad to get the audio figured out. Scott Grzkowski, 46 Miami Avenue. I just want to reiterate what I said at the last meeting, at the close of the last meeting. You guys are looking for a request for a proposal, but we don't have any plan in place to say what these companies are going to be proposing for. You need to come up with some kind of plan so you can have an RFP. Right now, you're just sending an RFP out there with no guidelines or anything like that telling what you're looking for with this proposal. So please consider that tonight because we need that to move along. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I don't see anybody online.
Anyone else in the room? Anyone else? Item? Comments by committee members?
I have a couple of things. One of the members of the Permanent Building Commission asked me about, where things were with the pools and whatever. And he said to me, well, when this proposal comes to us, we won't approve two pools at the same time. And I said, oh, I didn't think we were supposed to come to you. I thought that was not, we were exempt from that. And he said, no. I've since learned from other people that they say yes, and somebody else tells me no. So I really don't know what that all is going to entail in terms of the Permanent Building Commission. And I know it has to go through TPZ as well. And he did tell me they would say no to two pools at the same time. Not that we didn't need two pools, that to bond two pools at the same time, given our current situation, would be too much money. And the second question, or the second area of concern here is what are the rules regarding filling Carol's seat? How do we do that? I don't know how that happens. But other than that, I have nothing.
Do you want me to address that? or-
This is my understanding this doesn't have to go to the Permanent Building Commission
Correct, yeah.
because this commission is outside of that scope. So it doesn't have to go to the Permanent Building Commission. On as far as filling Carol Ann's position, it would go back to the Board of Parks and Recreation, and it would be a Republican that serves on the Board of Parks and Recreation would fill that position.
That was my assumption, but if we don't have a Republican who wants to serve on the pool committee, what do we do then?
Then it would have to be a Republican that serves on, and there would have to be someone from that body that would have to serve. As a
Just
Republican.
somebody other than, well, if there's not a Republican that's willing to serve on the pool committee, what do we do?
The piece would say vacant.
Okay, all right,
It's my understanding. You couldn't fill this
I
someone
don't
else.
know. Yeah, that's why I'm asking. I had no idea.
Because I believe it has to be one from each party. So you couldn't change, you just can't change the party. So it has to be
Yeah, I am. I just assumed that was it, but I just wanted
But
to
it'd be our-
confirm that.
Our party's responsibility to fill it. So we would take care of that, I'm sure.
Because the other option would be you would serve as the one that would be the member of the Parks and Rec Board, and then you could
I'm
find a
sure my
Republican.
party will figure that out. for us.
Okay, all right.
Any other comments?
I guess I-
Okay.
There's one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. I'm sorry.
Are we gonna address the bonding question?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can address it pretty quickly.
Okay.
So when this question came up 18 months ago, when we were getting ready for the referendum in November of 2024, Janet Murphy did an analysis of how much capacity we still had to go out to the bond market until we'd sort of imperil our AA+ rating. And I can't remember what the number was, what that magic number was, but it certainly was enough to cover the $11.7 million that we were voting on in the referendum. So I believe there would be bonding capacity, assuming no other, the council authorized referendums for no other projects to do two pools, assuming that number is 20 million or less. So I think we're on the right side of that number. But I can get, I mean, if you want, what I'm happy to do is dig up what the analysis that Janet provided to council 18 months ago and send it around.
That was my that was my recollection, but I'm not, yeah, we could check it.
So are we talking 20 million or 10 million?
I can't remember the exact number, whether it was how much, it's a hypothetical number. It's 20 million or 25 million, or there was, suffice it to say, when the question was asked, if voters approve that 2024 referendum, will that endanger our AA+ credit rating? And Janet's analysis showed that we had plenty of capacity
To do it.
even if we approve be above and beyond the $11.7 million.
So at this point, it doesn't sound like there's anything else that's going to go on to this fall's referendum for any other projects that we know of right now?
Yeah, I would. The fire department project building committee is lining up its rebuild of demolition and reconstruction of fire station number 4. So that would be,
So that's a possibility.
that's a possibility too.
And also, it would be this fall's referendum or because.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of more like hurdles that have to be jumped over, but yeah, they're still on target to get it.
I wasn't sure if it was next year, because I thought at one point we said we wouldn't be ready for this coming fall for.
For the pool, yeah, that's probably correct. But the fire department folks seem to be lining up so that they could meet the deadlines
Okay.
but again, it's council's prerogative to authorize to move it forward, to adopt an ordinance to move it forward. So there's still things that could hiccups along the way, but they're on the path.
The dog pound is not enough money to have to go to referendum.
Correct.
Right, and just, I don't think it's our committee's job. Our job is to do our homework, get a proposal together and send it to council. The council determines what the priorities are, not us. So we send it and what someone may have said, something, you know, in somebody's ear, that's not our prerogative. We get our facts together, we get our proposal together, we send it to the council, and that's the council decision. That's what their decision is. That's what this committee did so many months ago when, you know, before I got on the committee. That's what they did. They sent what was the best proposal, and they sent it to the council, and the council approved it, and they sent it on to the voters, and that's what our job is.
So I do have one more question. Because we are looking at all plans for both pools. And I think whether we just, and I guess this will also come down to the town council's decision. I think it's smart for us, no matter what, to make plans, look at all of the plans and decide what we want at each pool, what we think would work best. And even if it's decided not to put both of them in the same referendum, even if they have to be split up, which I guess the town council would do if necessary. I'm not sure how it works. If we decide to, all right, we might not be able to move forward with both pools, but could we also, when we present this is our vision for the two pools. And if it comes down to, we can only do one pool at a time through a referendum. I want to make sure that we can get it done. So we're not waiting, oh, now we got to wait another year for it to pass referendum. I don't know if when we present it to them, that we're willing to like stagger it so we can get it done. And maybe I'm not explaining it the way I'm thinking of it.
I think what you're trying to say is both pools, we've agreed that both pools need renovations. We are going out for RFP. The RFP is only for one pool because we just don't have enough money in our account to do both, correct?
No,
No,
we're gonna do
actually,
for both pools.
Okay, so when we do the referendum, it's to pass both pools.
Right.
The renovations might take 1 year for one pool and 1 year for another pool, but we're passing it all under one referendum. Did we agreed on that?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I wasn't clear about. I don't want anything to any reason for the public to say, you know, we can't afford two pools right now at this point. Maybe we should only do one pool at a time, even though we can plan for two pools and what we want at each pool. So all the bases are covered with our plans, but I just don't want it to be such a big project that they say, no, no pool again, you know, and then we're stuck again with the pool projects being stalled because of money.
Well, that's
Even
what we're gonna have
though
to look at
it's
it when the
staggered.
numbers come back. We'll have to look. That's our job. When the numbers come back, we'll have to say, hey, this is too big a price tag. We're gonna have to take this out, maybe put some of this here, move this over here, and that's gonna be the hard job. It's easy to say, yeah, we're gonna do two pools and we're gonna, you know, do the.
Right, well, and that
That's-
was my original
Yeah.
question, but you said that's the town council's decision to just.
Ultimately, what goes to
So,
the voters. is
yeah,
the
I'd
town
like
council decision, but yeah.
have a real plan as to, yeah, you know, there might be an alternate plan that we have to put forth instead of both of them, just to make sure it goes through at least one pool.
And yeah, so we're sort of starting to I think we're getting ahead into the next order of business. But the RFP kind of, one of the things I changed was to make it very much like, I use the word à la carte pricing. So it's like,
Right.
you know, 2 splash pads, 1 pool, 1 splash pad, 2 pools, like, you know, just so that you guys could have the whole assortment of cost estimates to think about, so.
Okay, so any more questions on councils, but comments by the community members? Okay, well, I move to old business then under RFP draft. Everybody have the new draft in front of them? Are there any questions on the draft?
If you like, I can just take a second and just highlight like what we talked about and what the changes we made. So I added that you guys were interested in seeing proposal or cost estimates and designs for splash pads, either nearby or adjacent to the two pools. You want to highlight that all improvements, especially the bathhouses, should be ADA compliant. And that as I said, that à la carte pricing, so detailed line items, so you can take in, take out, mix and match different options. That you also wanted visioning or workshops with the public to solicit opinions and feedback on different approaches. And I think that was it.
Those are the parts you highlighted, right?
Yeah, and they're all highlighted, the new language.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, thank you for doing it this way. I think it's great, so we can get a vision of what each one will look like, and then we can decide which one would be better with a splash pad. What would work best on each one. Could we also ask for a wading pool? Not, again, I don't want to say, I want all of this at both pools, but I'd like to have designs for each, because if we end up with one splash pad at one pool, I'd like to see the wading pool at the other pool, because I'm not seeing the wading pool on here.
Okay, yeah, well, there is no wading pool at Churchill though, right? It's
Yes, there is.
just
There's a
a,
wading pool.
there is a
There
milk.
is.
That's been the church for years.
You would know, but I don't know how, is it possible to make a wading pool that's zero depth, that's ADA compliant? That's kind of, have to be really big, right? Yes, Tommy?
I believe they call them zero depth entry.
That's in the big pool, right? But if you had a wading pool to make it AD, huh?
The wading pool is considered a pool, so we have 4 pools,
Okay, yeah,
because each one of those is considered a pool.
correct,
The wading pools and big pools.
right.
Okay, sweet.
Expected each on their own.
But to make a wading pool that's ADA compliant, is that possible? Okay.
So we can, if we pad it in there, we'll have to look at it. Is it worth to build a wading pool or a splash pad? Is that, there may be a trade, one
Yeah.
here and one here, or,
Right. Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Just in the Weston and Sampson proposal they had, one of the wading pools was zero depth.
Yeah, I
They
thought I
showed.
saw it, yeah.
So it can be done. I thought it was really good having what you put the a la carte, like, that's exactly what we need, because
Right, so, yeah,
I think if we bring that to the council with every step along the way, I think that would at least, maybe they say we only want to do half of it. That's their prerogative, but at least we can spell it out. And I think that's really what we maybe were missing a little bit last time. So I think it was really good that you put that in there.
it also makes it easier if we have to get the price to this
Yeah.
price point, we can say, okay, we can take off this and add this, or, this equals this. So which it's easier to trade off kind of values.
Is there somewhere in here that should be about the size of the pool, how many swimmers we have, or any of that information? Or do they just, I guess they can figure that out from how many swimming lessons we offer. Up in the top, it says that, but
I think they would design it based on that, based on the usage. They would probably have to get that information from the usage.
yeah, we don't have to give them any kind of size or shape or configuration or.
So it was for the pools themselves, it was to rebuild the pools.
So, yeah,
Reconstruct the
the size.
Yeah.
There's only such a bigger footprint.
Yeah, and so then I just said that adequate, and that would adequately provide for swim competitions and Red Cross compliant swim lessons. So that gets to that, the extra foot or meter or whatever you need to, for the competitions and, those things we've been talking about. So hopefully that's clear.
Any other
There was his.
questions?
So the existing footprint of the pool would stay as is.
Yes.
Okay. What about the dates?
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
There's like X for the dates.
Oh, the dates, yeah, I mean, well, once you guys are ready to pull the trigger, then we can work backwards on those dates.
Okay.
Just a question on that. We do have to wait for the budget to be passed before we could.
Yes, that's the, I mean, we could theoretically issue it before the budget, I mean, like after the budget passes, but before the beginning of the new
Yeah.
fiscal year, so that,
But
you know,
that doesn't happen for
It's like posting a check.
yeah.
maybe like another, maybe we couldn't do that today. We couldn't say, send it out today. We'd have to
Yeah.
wait.
Correct, we'd have to wait until after April 21st, I believe.
Any other questions?
Just one of the comments, from the public was around not having like a plan in here, but I don't think we actually, we do have some specifics in here. But we didn't, this isn't in the packet or anything like that, so I don't know if we need to describe that of what we kind of put in here more. Just like the public doesn't see this RFP, we only see it. So we do have a plan where it says, you know, of course, it stopped working for me. Did you get a paper copy?
Look at this one.
Well, just kind of, it does describe what we're looking for, kind of what you mentioned about, you know, the using the concrete liner option, Red Cross compliant swim lessons, ADA accessible.
Pump rooms,
Pump
fencing,
room, like,
decking.
So we
pool
are
lifts.
giving parameters for the.
We are giving, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Just, but I don't think the public sees that because they only
Okay.
saw the agenda. So they didn't see the RFP that we saw, but we do have some
We
specific.
do have
At
specifics of
least
what we're looking for. You're right. Okay.
guidelines, yeah. I'm not saying we have every bell and whistle, but at least kind of telling them this is kind of what we're thinking. And then letting them come up with a plan.
Good point.
I just don't want people to think we don't have a plan. We have.
Yeah,
some
we have a plan,
guidelines.
yes. We're,
I see
sort of,
it,
yeah.
but yeah, other people may not see it.
any other comments or corrections or additions or subtractions?
I don't have any.
How long does it take, like, what's a reasonable time after this goes out? to Have someone have plans ready? Like, how long do you give them? Like 3 months or something, or?
Well, for the plans themselves, that would be, for the responses, usually like a month, like the deadline would be a month to give us a proposal,
Mhm.
like that, so that we could evaluate who we want to go with. And then they would, as part of their response, they would outline. You know what I should probably do? Actually, that's a good. Taste. You know what? I don't have it. That's a good point, Eileen. I don't have provide a schedule for when deliverables would be.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. But I mean, realistically, I would imagine something like 4 months, 5 months. I mean, it may be more 6 months to account for like visioning sessions and things like that.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, we would send this out and then we would get responses and then we would have to choose one firm
Yeah.
from those responses. So, you know, we send this out and three firms respond. We have to choose the firm we
Correct,
want to use, and then we'd have to.
right, but I
interview-
didn't know how
interview them.
long we wait for them to respond, how long.
But
what's
given
the-
that we don't have that, I mean, again, we don't have that crunch. There's no, because we don't really have to worry about having anything to council until the spring of 2020, like 12 months from now, even more, 14 months from now.
Right.
You know, the more time, the merrier.
Any other questions, comments?
So once we get the RFP back and we decide which company we're going, is that at the time that we decide exactly how the design of pool and?
No, at that point, then we start to work with, once we've selected the vendor, then we start to work with the vendor, back and forth, public meeting. Okay, we like, 4 lanes at Churchill and 3 lanes at whatever,
Yeah, then we
configuration.
for that, that's sort of the design phase.
That's the back and forth, and that will take 6 months or more, and then they'll give a deliverable, and that deliverable will be the basis for the pool committee going before council and saying, we recommend a referendum for X, Y, and Z, but not, F, G, and H.
So we're not looking for referendum this year in
Correct.
2026.
That's
Next year in
yeah.
2027.
So what I can do, I'm happy to do, there's a couple of things about, we want to add, provide a schedule for how long it will take you to complete this project. And I also want to, spell out that they're waiting pools too. So there's 2 pretty simple additions. And I can circulate that for a very short meeting for next time. Probably we can get this done in 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Plus public participation. And then kind of put it to bed until we see where we are with the, and I think the budget will be adopted. Yeah, the budget will have just been adopted the week before, I guess, the next meeting, so.
Okay. So our next meeting can be really short. We just have to do the final version of this and then we can go from there.
Yep.
Is that good with everyone?
Yep.
Okay. Any other old business we need to discuss?
I'm just, this is probably old business, but I think I'll mention it. We do have an offer on the street for a replacement for Bill. I'm going through the background checks now, so I can't publicly say who it is, but I think he's going to be a good addition to the team. Once he gets onboarded, I am going to pass on the responsibilities of being staff liaison to that new park and rec superintendent. So I will be phasing out, but I'll hold his hand as much as possible, get him up to speed. But I don't think there's much that I can teach him about pools. He could probably teach us a lot. So I think that's good.
Good.
Okay.
Look forward to it.
I'll teach him about Zoom.
Yeah. But anything else? This would be a record
I
meeting.
have nothing.
Public participation.
Scott Roskowski has his hand up.
Scott?
Hi, me again. I'd like to respectfully ask that for the next meeting, when the RFP stuff is in there, can you please put that in the packet online so we can see it at home? So that way we know what you're talking about, because we're kind of sitting here in the dark. That's all. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, we will.
And Dana also. So
Dana Havens?
Hi, Dana Havens, 113 Stoddard Avenue. So yeah, what Scott said about it, attaching it, I mean, I did get a copy of it, but I had to ask for it, and I know we've asked before, and I just wish you would please attach that. Also, I think if you try to put 2 polls up at once, that it's totally going to fail. I really wish you guys would just prioritize, if we can believe things that we heard the first time around with the failed referendum. Mill Pond Pool is the one in the worst condition, and you should probably just put that one forward first. But yet, when you think of the results of the study that Weston Sampson did, kind of sounds like Churchill might actually be in worse conditions. So I'm just not sure. And also, question, when you go out to RFP, do you contact people like Weston Sampson does do this type of work? Would you say, hey, now we're going out for an RFP for the construction. Would you please apply, or is that against the rules? Just a question. Thanks. Bye.
Anyone else? Anyone in the room? Comments by committee members? I would think we would contact Weston Sampson because they did some of the work already, so I assume we would contact anybody who does pools, we would contact. I'm sure there must be a list of people we would contact, so certainly would be on our list. Any other comments? And motions in order then to adjourn. This is my first
There you go.
head of the meeting, and we're just out of here in half an hour.
Nice.
Eileen was.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's right. The game's still on. When I left, they were ahead by